This is a video that I really regret having to make. It's one that makes me sad, in fact, because the future of this channel is in serious jeopardy. There's a very good possibility that this time next year, the Yak Hockey channel is no longer receiving uploads, and unfortunately, it's due to the actions of the NHL itself. So I'm going to ramble in this video. I don't know what I'm going to put on for video. It may be very random, but I hope you listen. So as a bit of backstory, I started this YouTube channel during the 23 NHL season. Since then, we've uploaded 902 videos, accumulated almost 100 million views, and fostered a community of over 140,000 subscribers. The channel is run by myself, my name is Justin, and Brandon, who helps with the writing and the editing. If you watch enough, you probably recognize when I'm reading something Brandon wrote versus my own analysis. Either way, this channel was a part of a new wave of hockey content creators, and I honestly think that together, we've really given some energy to the hockey YouTube scene. Not to say that there weren't great creators like The Hockey Guy, like Steve Dangle, like 2BC Productions, and others. There certainly were, and really our channels are only possible because of their work. However, I also think it's undeniable that the hockey YouTube scene is blowing up through creative and well-made content. I include my own here. I include the likes of my friends Hockey Psychology, O Nyquist, Johnny Hockey, and others. Anyway, to cut to the chase, all of our YouTube channels have been affected by the NHL's recent decision to claim all revenue from any NHL footage used as a part of overall analysis. What that means is that the NHL has slowly been going through both my backlog and also new uploads, immediately copyright claiming them and taking all of the revenue. Hockey Psychology has also told me that for some of his videos, which are really well made, they're long, they're high effort, they're also outright blocking them, which to me is just ludicrous. Now, I've been doing YouTube for 8 years now, which is crazy. I have other channels. I've dealt with my fair share of copyright claims in the past, literally thousands, but this is different. This is a guy who works for the NHL, and I can tell this manually going through our backlogs, claiming videos without any real thought. And I'll put a comparison on the screen. This is what the NHL claims look like. Just a blanket copyright claim across the entire video. This is done by a person, whereas one of my other claims on, say, my Star Wars channel, you can see it's the system identifying the visual data, claiming it, and I can either appeal or whatever. So what this means essentially is that I can no longer use NHL footage in my videos. Now, it's my belief that my videos and that the videos generally of these other creators are fair use. What's more, I've created content for the NFL, the NBA, the PW UHL, the CHL, the NCAA, and many other leagues. The only one I've had trouble with besides the NHL is American college football. The NHL here, in my honest opinion, is shooting itself in the foot. Us as creators, I think, are doing a great job of marketing the game, of keeping people interested in the game. In an age of blackouts, 82 game seasons, 32 teams, I've heard so many times that my view is that the viewers of these other channels rely on our content to keep their interest in the NHL high. And I relate to this. Obviously, I watch a lot of hockey now, but when I was in law school, for example, I completely lost touch with what was going on, especially with the Rangers, which, I mean, they were going through a rebuild, it's fine. But had this content existed back then, I would have watched it. And I don't think I would have had the same black hole of missing hockey for several years like I do now in my past. Obviously, I came back to it, but some don't. Some do because of our content. You know, this is something that sports in general are starting to realize, but the NHL is just so far behind. Like I said, I've got other YouTube channels video game companies beg us to cover their games. Games which have single-player stories you can experience once, versus the NHL where no one's really watching old games. Like, we're not restreaming games here or just posting games outright or even just clips without commentary. We're breaking down the NHL so those who can't follow it as closely can still get their hockey fix. I model my approach after, say, Sports Center because that's the kind of content that I enjoyed watching. I liked getting a feel for the game if I missed it. Others, like Hockey Psychology, do a great job of using their expertise to break down trends and coaching decisions and systems in a way that, for example, I don't have the knowledge to. And there have been months where my YouTube channel will reach a third or a half of the views of the NHL's official channel alone, with just a fraction of the uploads, just two guys working in our basement. When you have the rest of these YouTube channels who are also being affected, and I'm talking dozens, the NHL is seriously disincentivizing what I genuinely think is a great way to keep especially younger fans engaged with the game. But there's honestly more than just that which really frustrates me. It's not just that the NHL doesn't value our contributions, or the NHL doesn't think what we're doing is fair use, or doesn't want us to be able to contribute in this way, but they've also just, in my experience, outright rejected me personally every step of the way. I applied to the NHL for a media badge so I could occasionally do what I do with CHL games, give the lived-in experience of going to a hockey game with the analysis on the side. They rejected my application within 30 minutes. At the time, we were pulling in 10 million views a month. They didn't value that. All right, fine. I applied for a job with the NHL's digital social media, a job that I am undoubtedly qualified for. I've ran several YouTube channels for nearly a decade, well, 8 years at this point, accumulated hundreds of millions of views, and I'm a lawyer. I can't get a right back. I've emailed to the NHL's licensing team, the NHL's marketing team, the NHL's outreach team, trying to do something so I wasn't sort of an outlaw on the fringes working with content in a way they might not like, and they've never responded to me. So that's extremely frustrating, because I do think that the NHL is behind when it comes to video, when it comes to the digital age and marketing. There are great channels, I think, bar down, obviously, they're TSN, not the NHL itself, but they do a great job. For example, I think Spit and Chicklets, 32 Thoughts, there are lots of great productions, but there's room for so much more. Look at the NFL, look at the MLB even. These are the NHL's direct competitors, and they're losing the war. I think I know how to help. I think that many of my fellow creators know how to help. You don't want to listen to our advice? That's fine. But right now, you've removed the thing that allows me to take time away from my other jobs to make NHL videos, because that's what it comes down to. I've got multiple YouTube channels. I've got 3 kids. I can't pussyfoot around and maybe get videos monetized if I want to upload at the same rate. I also don't want to move away from using footage. I think it's great that channels like The Hockey Guy and Steve Dangle have made that choice for themselves. It's smart. They don't want to wrangle with the copyright gods. For me personally, if I can't make this content which I think is engaging, where the clips add a lot of value, where you can see what I'm breaking down, it's just not worth it. And again, I won't play around with the NHL's dumb rules. I've got a lot of talents for YouTube. I've got many other YouTube channels. I will put my time elsewhere to a medium where I can make content that people want to watch without having to deal with dinosaur rules. And to be clear, that's not a shot at those who don't use video. Like I said, I think their style works for them. But I had a vision for this channel, and the people that come to watch it expect the content as it's made. I don't think I'd ever drop this channel because I love hockey so much, and making these videos has reinvigorated my love of hockey. I didn't get to play as a kid. I've actually used some of the money to buy a full set of gear, and now I do play beer league, and that's honestly one of the great joys of my life. I didn't make this public, but another example, I donated, or the channel donated, $10,000 to my local minor hockey league last season. We've raised money for ALS, for cancer. We've built a community. Overall, it's just been excellent. Like, that's how I feel. It's just been excellent. But again, 3 kids. I've got to make smart business decisions. And you probably already noticed I uploaded far less in December. It's just not worth it. I can't when I've got other things I need to do. And that's not a threat, because maybe they don't care. But I think they should. And I think the NHL is being incredibly short-sighted and risks removing just a group of people who, yes, are profiting. I'm not going to lie. We're able to do this because it's a job, because it makes money, because we can talk and edit hockey videos and it pays the bill, but we are also, I think, giving back. This should be a symbiotic relationship. The NHL doesn't see that. They think we're parasites and pariahs. They would rather take the money themselves from the videos, because that, of course, is the other part. The NHL is not only preventing us from monetizing the video, they're actually taking the money themselves, and I guarantee right now the NHL is making far, far more money off of our claimed videos than they are for their poorly edited, lazy uploads on the NHL YouTube channel. Listen, I'll teach you how to be successful at YouTube. This is what we're all doing, usually with 1 or 2 creators for each channel. Imagine what the NHL could do with all of its millions of dollars and editing teams without having to spend the time copyright claiming other YouTubers. I'm frustrated. I love hockey, but I don't love this from the NHL. Anyway, let me know your thoughts down below. I've got an interview probably tomorrow with Global and maybe some other outlets. I'm really surprised at how big this news is, and I appreciate all the support. We don't have a hashtag or anything, but just support the content creators you love, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye-bye. 100
Oh boy, we're about to head into the new year, but not without one more edition of this series. Whether it was the return of the Russian machine, some incredible goals.
I mean, there's no way. That is great stuff.
Huge hits with plenty of nasty. The Devils hilariously trolling the Rangers.
The camera caught me.
A Buddy the Elf setting who's not looking so good.
Buddy the Elf with a smoke in his mouth.
Several incredible sound bites.
What is wrong with you?
Looks phenomenal naked.
I think that speaks more about him than it does us.
Oh, I don't care what he says.
And if you have a better way, you're free to share it with me.
He has definitely got a high-pitched voice right now.
And so much more. It's time to recap another week of hockey. Now, I think I'll start in the juniors with one of the worst upsets we've ever seen. Team Canada versus Team Latvia. In their 4 matchups prior to this one, Canada had outscored Latvia 41-4. Canada beat Latvia 10-0 just a year ago, and yet a maybe overconfident Canada found themselves in a shootout after 60, where we got whatever this was, but while he got roasted for it, it is his signature move. So, maybe chill out. But anyway, Latvia would eventually end up taking it in the shootout to upset Canada as Feldbergs stopped 54 of 56, and just look at the joy. And despite it being the holidays, we had our fair share of drama this week. Laine, making his return to Columbus, had some extra words for the Blue Jackets, which of course led to plenty of boos.
Laine up the center.
But after Columbus welcomed him back and took the dub at home with a late third period tiebreaker to make it 5-4, Zach Werenski weighed in on it all.
I think that speaks more about him than it does us. We're nothing but good teammates to him, nothing but good friends to him.
Similarly, Anaheim's Gauthier had some pregame words for his former club.
With all that happened, it's definitely been a game circled on my calendar.
Interesting, because he did absolutely nothing in a 3-1 loss, but here were Tortorella's thoughts.
Oh, I don't care what he says. Yeah, I'm not interested in answering questions about Karakoche.
And rounding out the drama for the week after a 4-0 loss to the Blues, Derek Lalonde was ready for a break.
We need the break. The break's coming at a really good time.
And apparently Yzerman agreed, as Lalonde's break was extended, as this is all part of the Yzer plan, right?
If you have a better way, you're free to share it with me, okay?
But even if you had a rough week, remember, you could always be the Rangers. As this dumpster fire continued to burn, Mika's checked out, Igor's scared his check's about to bounce, because don't let the score fool you. Yes, they gave up 5 against the Devils, but they played much worse. And the cherry on top was getting trolled on the Jumbotron with the infamous 2019 draft clip of Rangers fans cheering that they got Kakko instead of Hughes. Just ruthless.
What a smile to your face. I don't know, man. I don't think it. No.
There are 2 types of people choosing auto insurance. Those who open hundreds of tabs trying to research options, and those who let NerdWallet do all the work for them. If you're tired of bouncing between websites
of Hughes. Just ruthless.
What a smile to your face. I don't know, man. I don't think it. No.
And with that, let's get to the naughty this week. This came in Buffalo after it was Foligno laying the boom on Cooley. Then in Carolina, after Timo Meier caught Necas at center ice with a knee, he was given the boot. But shortly after, Haula caught Orlov behind his net, who suffered a broken nose, and naturally temperatures were elevated. So while Orlov thought about getting revenge, he figured he should maybe clean up first. Gives the nose a wipe down before coming back and giving Haula a piece of his mind as, I don't know, I just thought this sequence was funny. Similarly, in Sunrise, Tkachuk was hurting after Kucherov caught him with a knee, as Tkachuk seemed all but done. However, he'd come back and did what Tkachuk does best, which is stir the pot, as they all got into it. But shortly after this, it was Kulikov absolutely demolishing Gonçalves and, surprise, surprise, some extracurriculars. Heading over to Boston, it was Olivier just folding up McAvoy, as that one had to hurt. Pahal in San Jose with a huge hit on Grenstrom. In Vancouver, Myers absolutely sat down Eklund, but hits don't always go to plan, as Greer trying to lay one on Isamont went up and over hard into the boards. Similarly, McAvoy lining up Johnson would catch nothing but air and, well, the boards in Columbus. But with that, let's lighten things up a bit with the nice. Again, it was Christmas after all, and the Lightning had old St. Nick Paul pay a visit.
Ho, ho, ho. It's old St. Nick.
And this whole thing was fantastic.
Really cold. Keep it.
What is wrong with you? See, he don't get hit in the nose anymore.
Whose shock is this?
I don't know.
And no, believe it or not, this is not footage of Matt Rempe. It's Buddy the Elf, who made an appearance this week at the Kings Flyers game. Though he's looking a little disheveled, am I wrong?
Is that thing lit? Buddy the Elf with a smoke in his mouth.
Over in Toronto, Steven Lorentz, with his warm-up routine, had his bucket get stuck in the glass as they had to try and get the damn thing out before eventually just deciding to cut it off, as I don't think I've ever seen that before. Sticking with Toronto, after Tarasenko caught Benoit in the nether regions, he gave us some insane visuals on the bench, but best of all was the call.
He has definitely got a high-pitched voice right now.
And as fun as these two have been on the ice, they've been equally as entertaining off the ice as they recreated the LeBron driveway video.
Hey! On his head! Ain't that what they do?
And we even got another edition of Stupid Questions.
I said yes. Yeah. Because can't listen all the time. They don't like help, but they get you going. Yeah, they're strong. It wakes you up for sure. No. You don't? No, I think it bends my hair too much. Once in a while. Just to keep it in good state. I like shampoo. Yeah, shampoo's good. But that's maybe the most stupid question.
In Boston, after Pasta seemed shaken and left the game, Marchand was asked about it.
Do some pasta after? How do you look?
That's on the shower. Already go on?
Then back in the juniors, Craig Button seemingly nearly died on the air.
The hockey game.
Excuse me.
Oh, bless you.
And will someone check in on Quinn Hughes?
Enjoy it. Well done. Congratulations, win. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Lastly, you remember the whole Shane Pinto gambling ordeal that went down? Well, after explaining that he put in a good word for Sanderson in the 2020 draft,
I actually texted one of the development guys in Ottawa. I'm like, guys, this kid's a legit player. He cares about the game. Like,
Wit of Spit and Chicklets absolutely roasted him.
He's like, I actually already put in a bet that he's going 5th overall, so can you guys take him? You're brutal.
Now, I don't normally showcase every rookie that makes their debut, but this one was special. Denton Matejchuk from my hometown, we went to school together, made his debut this week with the Blue Jackets, and this was just incredible to see. Shout out to him, Jason, Keela, and the whole family. So excited to watch the future. But another rookie that made his debut was Jakub Dobesh from Montreal, as the kid made 33 stops to earn the shutout in his debut. Very cool cool to see. And so with that, let's give the goalies some love. Back in Columbus, it was Greaves with not one but two incredible stops, gets the pad down and stops Doc with a pair of toe stops. Speaking of which, we had Karski in Nashville with a beautiful robbery on O'Reilly. Askarov over in San Jose had himself a pretty glove stop as he keeps an eye on it to keep this one out. And lastly, Thompson facing Nylander all alone shut him down with the leather with a save so good, Nylander even had to give him his dues. However, it wasn't all fun and games as UC Saros with a pretty assist gives it right to Broberg, who made him pay. And so with that, how about we finish with the goals of the week? After seeing updates of the Russian machine for weeks, it was finally time. Alexander Ovechkin back in the lineup after 40 days as the chase to greatness is back on. He got himself an empty netter in the first one back and then another against Detroit the next night as he's now just 25 away from passing Wayne Gretzky. Then from vet to young gun, we had Bedard in Minnesota, whether on purpose or not, completely fooling Gustafsson between the wickets. Heading to LA was Michkov. He's Riddick out of his net and capitalizes for a nice one. And that seemed to be the Flyers' MO as Frost in Anaheim scored a similar one off the stall and into his own net. Byfield in overtime would send the Oilers home as he beat Skinner with a clean shot, but even cleaner was the stone cold Selly that came afterwards. And finally, this was just a pretty feat. Tavares leans on his amulet to somehow blindly find Martyr as this was just pretty stuff. Which, speaking of assists, Sidney Crosby with the assist on this bunting goal, 1,034 assists to pass Lemieux. Oh, never mind. His assist was officially taken back. So we had to wait for the next game, and for real this time, Sidney Crosby again to bunting. Tell me if you've seen that before. Would record his 1,034th assist, and this time it would stand as the home crowd gave him a standing O. But with that, I think I'll call it for this week. I wish you all a happy new year. Thank you all for the support all year long. I appreciate it very much, and I'll see you in the next one. We're just a week into the new year, but boy, was it a busy one. From the Great Eight continuing to chase down Gretzky, some phenomenal saves, devastating hits, Tanev spitting out teeth. Of course, the World Juniors bringing the entertainment.
And yep, I can't hear you anymore. He's probably the most hated guy in all Canada right now.
The lights cutting out in Seattle.
The lights have gone out, not in Georgia.
The annual Hershey Teddy Bear Toss.
Teddy Bear Toss, Bedlam, and Hershey.
Some hilarious sound bites.
You ever see this? Nah, I don't think so. You're doing a terrible job.
I said I don't give a shit.
There's plenty to cover, and so kicking things off this week, we had the annual Winter Classic, which gave us plenty of content. Getting a family skate in, Bedard chirped his own mom.
My mom was struggling a little bit out there. She's got an ugly stride, but...
And speaking of the chirps, Biz went 1v1 against Bedard, which Bedard won, but Keith Yandel had a great one.
Make a wish over.
Anyway, while the Blues had quite the route from room to ice, as far as the game went, they were all over the Hawks. Fowler playing in his 1,000th game, the first to do so outdoors, got things going, and they never looked back as they put a beating on the Blackhawks. Fowler scoring his second of the night, and while they were friendly during the pregame,
We'll do a handshake after, right? They're asking me.
the two captains would go at it during the game as you just gotta love hockey. We also saw Taylor Hall sent over the boards by Bolduc as again, it was just domination by the Blues in a 6-2 dub as Chicago would lose their 5th outdoor game in a row. I guess it's a good thing no one was watching as the Winter Classic for the first time had less than 1 million viewers. Moving on, we also saw the conclusion of the World Juniors, which saw Canada for the second year in a row eliminated by Czechia. Czechia, who would go on to win bronze in a shootout against Sweden in a 14-round shootout, the longest in WJC history, as a big congrats to them. And that would leave just the gold medal game between Finland and the U.S., where the U.S., who had been full of trolls all tournament,
You hear the booze, it kind of just made me smile, honestly. He's probably the most hated guy in all Canada right now.
were able to erase a 3-1 deficit and come all the way back to eventually win it in overtime and take gold in back-to-back years. A big congrats to them as well. Leonard was the MVP, and Kachuk with some fellow American Senators were loving it. I think this may be my favorite clip of the tournament, though. But that is a good segue into some quick ones from the week in Seattle. This was good. Just seconds after puck drop, the lights completely cut out, and oh no, say it ain't so.
Did you always want to be in this line of work? I always wanted to be famous.
Drop, the lights completely cut out, and oh no, say it ain't so. I love how this is like, what, the third time this has happened at Climate Pledge Arena?
Jamie Alexiak, the lights have gone out, not in Georgia.
Come on, crew, that was a good one, yeah. Give me some knocks. No, all right. In Toronto, this fan got a stick after Anders Lee had his yoinked into the crowd, but Lee was like, no, I think I'll take that back. Thank you very much. And then let me show you a tale of two outcomes. In Colorado, after Wedgwood went down, this goal stood. However, if we go over to LA now, this one was deemed no good and called goalie interference. I love LASIK.com's tweet here. Now, yes, I understand Parker Kelly pushed Benson into his own goalie and the Avs didn't have possession.
I said I don't give a shit.
My favorite part, though, was Clifton saving Benson from Girardi here. Speaking of reffing, though, heading over to the KHL, and have you ever seen this? His cell phone fell out during play? What? Then we've obviously seen the prankster that Marc-Andre Fleury is, and this week Sidney Crosby found himself at the same hotel as Fleury over in Raleigh, so he snuck into his room and moved his furniture around. Well, Fleury, responding, reportedly put Vaseline on his visor, laced his skates up backwards, and put beef sticks in his jockstrap. Man, am I going to miss this guy. On New Year's Eve, we had Gene Principe bringing us into the new year with style.
New Year's resolution is to do more triceps this year.
You're doing a terrible job.
And to bring it, referencing a throwback, brought back the Kaner Shuffle.
Let's see. Come on, bro.
Now, this was amazing.
You ever see this? Nah, I don't think so.
A defensive zone face-off, you're down a goal, down a man with 42 seconds, and Raw pulled the goalie, which went about as you would expect, as his reaction here was priceless. But earlier in that game, Tanev took a puck to the face as he then casually exited the ice. But look at this. Hockey players, man, they are just different. I mean, just look at Yager. At 52, he was still spitting chicklets this week. But with that, let's take a look at some of the rowdy from the week. This scrum came after Kotkaniemi went into Bobrovsky, but was then held down and sat on by Kachuk before the Canes would score. And while the Panthers were confused by how that counts, the Hurricanes were there to help clear things up. Earlier in that game, though, AJ Greer sent Juha Jaska absolutely flying. And so, flying Flying over to the Swedish Hockey League, we had Luke Witkowski laying a devastating hit on Ljungcrantz. Coming back to Sunrise now after another Bennett special with the little rat punch on O'Connor here, things blew up a bit, but imagine being the linesman, you're trying to break things up, and you look up to Victor E. Rat all up in your face. Gotta be one of the top 3 mascots. And then, while not really a hit so much by Gergensen here, we saw Edmondson take a scary looking fall in LA as he came down awkwardly and just wanted to wish him the best. Another scary moment came over in Toronto after McCabe going after Hathaway gave him a shot as the two would finally go dancing. But as they went down, McCabe was visibly shaken. He stayed down as he obviously hit the ice pretty hard. He is on IR today, and so again, just hope he's all right. But with that, how about we lighten the mood a bit? We had a few wholesome moments this week worth sharing as we got the annual Hershey teddy bear toss, and no one does it quite like them. As always, it was cuddly mayhem, and I thought this was pretty good. The Hershey Bears received over 100,000 bears to give away. Then here we just got an adorable clip.
Who's your favorite player? Probably Quinn Hughes. Can you get a message to him for me? Can you tell him that I said get better soon?
And lastly, we had another special rookie debut, Ozzy Weisblatt, who you may remember was drafted by San Jose.
Sharks are proud to select from the Prince Albert Raiders.
Well, he was traded to Nashville over the summer, and this week he made his NHL debut. Ozzy, born to deaf parents and raised mostly by his mother Kim, grew up learning American Sign as his first language. And just by the way, check out their awesome names: Ocean, Orca, Ozzy, Oasis, and Oceania. But anyway, their mother, who struggled to make ends meet while raising 5 kids alone, I just can't even imagine the joy that she felt this week watching her son out there.
National Hockey League match.
Moving on, we had another great week for the goalies as they were absolutely vibing. Askarov at home made a beautiful glove stop, extending fully to flash the leather. So good. Over in New York, it was Quick on another level, here with 3 in a row as he flashes the Trapper. Then in LA, this time it was Jake Allen with the throwback pad stack, as these are just fun to see. Elvis over in Columbus was pissed about his net, said, fine, you know what? Is that what you want? Well, that fire carried him to a dub as he would make a great toe stop to win it before batting the puck into the rafters. Probably about where you'll find Louis Domingue's stick as he absolutely launched his stick to make a stop. Then we had Bobrovsky stretching out to make the pinky toe stop. Similarly, Lankinen in Vancouver used every bit of his toenail on this one, as even Sider was getting in on the action in Detroit with a tremendous effort to keep this one up. And then we had Charlie Lindgren. Oh, no. Stay in your net! There it is. That's brutal. He gets all twisted up. You're facing the wrong direction, Charlie. As it wasn't all fun and games for the goalies. Aiden Hill going for the goalie goal would get called for a penalty going outside the trapezoid, which I don't know about all that, but it wasn't as bad as Logan Thompson absolutely gifting one to Kreider as the Capitals goalies with a couple of doozies. Then we had Markstrom and San Jose get beat late in what was a tied hockey game, and so as time expired, that is not a happy goalie. But from goalies, let's move to goal scorers, as we saw the Great 8 continue to chase down history as he beat Fleury to get to just 24 away and had a chance to get another in the shootout, but looks like Fleury will get the last laugh for now.
You bent over and said something to him after one of the saves, and you both started laughing. What did you say? Hey, no, one more. Like I said, you already get one. So.
Had a lot of goals given up to Ovi over the years, right? But I'm happy I got to play tonight and one more time.
Having said that, Ovi would score yet another one in the next game. Of course he would. 19 in 23 games. He's scoring at a higher goal per game average than when he was in his prime. This is what peak performance looks like, boys. Speaking of Gretzky, Matthew Nyes channeled his inner Gretzky as he scored a beautiful redirect. He was out there slicing and breaking ankles. He then would go on to score his second of the night in what was another beauty to beat Swayman before. You better believe it, he completed the Hattie. First of his career, and he was loving it. In Chicago, swing, batter, swing. It's Heineman with some great hand-eye to bat this one in. And finally, Matty Beniers' Duffany shot on the breakaway would get it off the boards and bank it off of Melka to score one just the way he drew it up, I'm sure. But with that, I think that's going to about do it for me this week. As always, I appreciate you all for watching, and I will see you in the next one. Keeping up with the Canucks? That drama between Petey and Miller, that's old news. The latest locker room drama is coming out of Boston.
The locker room is a disaster, and David Pastrnak is at the center of that.
See, the Bruins have not had the best start to the first half of the season. They came into the season with all that drama around Swayman.
I have 64 million reasons why I'd be playing right now.
And while they did get that figured out, they then got off to an 8-9-3 start, so they fired Montgomery back in November, just 20 games into the season. They've now been 12-10-2 since, with Joe Sacco at the helm. After last night's 4-1 loss to the Lightning, they now find themselves on a 6-game losing skid. Certainly not playing up to their expectations, and so as a result, the media starts to get loud, which is where we find ourselves. A few times. Against the Lightning, it was Geeky, Zaka, and Pasta as the top line, and Marchand, Coyle, and Lindholm on the second. But it couldn't just be that they have the worst power play in the league, are struggling offensively, and are trying to spread out some depth, right? Nah, of course not. Rich Keefe, co-host of Jones and Keefe, reported today or suggested that Pastrnak came out and essentially demanded that he no longer play with Marchand.
Pastrnak does not want to play with Marchand. Pastrnak has told the team he doesn't want to be on a line with Brad Marchand.
That is obviously an insane accusation. Now, you may ask yourself, why would he not want to play with Marchand?
It may stem from Brad Marchand calling out Pastrnak for some of his play throughout the year.
And if this was true, yes, the locker room would be a mess. Pastrnak is the team's highest paid player, and while he had 26 goals at this point last year, he only has 17 this year. He is still their leading goal scorer, and he does have 42 points in 44 games. It's not like he's terrible, but he's now beefing with their captain, refusing to play with him altogether. I mean, that's pretty bad, right? Not so quick. The Bruins posted these practice photos, alluding to it all being false, but after practice, Marchand let it rip.
The fact that he's going to have a job after this is insane. Pats and I are best friends. Zero truth can be a problem in the room. He's one of the most loved guys in the room. This guy can whip out sand, go back to the closet where no one knew where he was before.
Now, he hasn't been great on the ice, but man, he's pretty good behind the mic. Pasta was also asked about it and also denied it all.
100% false. No, we love each other. I have a huge amount of respect for him, so I can't imagine going to coach and say, hey, I don't want to play with you guys.
But the truth remains, something is broken, and I'm sure the locker room is frustrated. Who knows how that is weighing on things? But to come out and make these allegations without facts, that's just them trying to capitalize on the team struggling. But more so, if it is a blatant lie, that, as Marchand said, really should completely discredit you. I said all of that. Keefe appears to be doubling down with his statement, which I find hilariously ironic. The media can call for people's jobs, but not the other way around. And how does Marchand denying all of this confirm your claim? Not sure I follow the logic there, but yeah, all in all, while this was entertaining today, there doesn't seem to be much to it, at least not yet. More than anything, though, I think this was actually a great response from Marchand and the Bruins. Nip it in the bud immediately, something that the Canucks could probably take some notes on. They haven't handled their situation quite as convincingly, but yeah, just a quick one here in case you saw some of this stuff today. I figured I'd try to throw the story together. Thank you guys for watching. I appreciate it very much, and I'll see you on the next one.
Want to earn cryptocurrency? Try Coinbase. Coinbase simply
The NHL is killing me, and YouTube is the executioner. It's Monday morning, which would normally mean I get up early and spend the next at least 10 hours working tirelessly on my weekly series for you guys. But not today, and God, it pains me to say it, but the NHL is winning. See, the holidays are over, but the NHL lit my phone up this morning like a Christmas tree. This is my email box right now. They are doing absolutely everything they can to shut us hockey YouTubers down. And again, it is working. You've probably noticed my content has been drying up lately, and it's not because I wanted to. See, when I started this channel, I did it for the love of the game, but it grew quickly into a side gig where I was actually making money, and literally this season, this YouTube channel became my sole source of income. So the NHL now deciding to do this is not ideal, obviously, but yeah, my channel along with several others have done nothing but grow this great game. I get comments every day telling me that they got into hockey or back into hockey because of me and channels like mine, or that these videos let them stay in the loop and actually leads to people watching more hockey. That is good for the NHL. That grows the game and keeps people engaged. And guess what, Gary? You're not even paying us to do this for you. But that's not enough. What is the NHL's response? The most NHL thing they could do, which is shut it all down. See, they used to claim videos and they would let you know what portion they weren't happy with. Great. That gave me an option to go in, edit that part out, and hopefully it didn't compromise the video too much. Other times it would happen where it did compromise the video, so I figured I'd just let the NHL have it since it happened rarely enough that I would just look at those videos as a donation to the community, so to speak. But now, no. They are claiming the entire video, meaning videos that I put hours of work into, getting the footage, telling a story, writing a script before recording and editing it all together is entirely out the window the second I upload it. But there's no way to know beforehand if I'll be taken down or not. It's like playing Russian roulette, which is not a sustainable way to work. I can't dedicate an entire day of work on something, cross my fingers it'll be okay, just for it to be taken down immediately. The worst part is, again, they're claiming entire videos, even when there's footage in some of these videos that they don't have any rights to. But again, YouTube is being complacent in this, as they always are, and they just take the bigger dog in the fight, which is the NHL. So while this is a real bummer, and it is, for now, I just want to sincerely thank all of you for the support these last 2 or 3 years. It's been an incredible chapter of my life. I'm holding out a glimmer of hope that this can be undone if the NHL isn't stupid, but I'm not sure. I'm going to take some time to think about it and hope there's a way that I can keep creating content you'd like to watch, but I don't know what to say, to be honest. I just wanted to let you know what was going on. That's going to be about it for this one, and I hope it's not the last one. Week 14 was An interesting one. Plenty of hate all around the league. Philly fans showed us a thing or two about that. Having said that, though, we also had plenty of love to go around. We got some insane goals, plenty of bloopers, and just great highlights. So whether it's the ridiculous saves, and we got plenty of those, milestones being hit, or just great sound bites.
He saved my butt.
We're going to be jukebox heroes tonight, and we're going to keep on rocking.
May the force be with you.
Took a thumb. That's a good one.
Taking comments have my number.
There's plenty to cover, so let's get to it. Now, ironically, some of the biggest drama this week came from the YouTube hockey world itself. Old Bettman and his crew don't seem too fond of us, but I did want to start this one by saying thank you to all of you for the support. It has been honestly incredible. I can't thank you all enough. All the comments, new subscribers, I really, really appreciate it all. And while I'm still not sure what's going to come of it, there's only one way to find out, so let's get to it. We had Cutter Gauthier and his return to the city of brotherly love to hate. Gauthier.
I'm sure there's going to be a lot of booze, but I'll take it as a compliment for tonight.
Well, boy, was he showered in compliments.
Philly fans are jacked up.
Now, the other side of the story was Jamie Drysdale, and just like the script would have it, he would score Philly's second of the night. And
A goal like that didn't really help.
that building was rocking, Torts was parting the seas, and Konechny, I will fight you. I promise you, I will fight you.
I don't know the kid. We're just all giving him a hard time.
Now, as for Gauthier, give him some credit. His very next game, he would come out and score an absolute beauty. A wicked shot, short side, pretty stuff. But moving on, this week we also saw these two gray-haired goats hit some new milestones. Ovi, in his pursuit of the great one, got one goal closer in Nashville with an empty netter, putting him just 22 away now. And further, this was his 20th of the season, marking the 20th consecutive time in his career he's done it. Insane consistency. Now, as for Sid, the not so much of a kid anymore, he broke the all-time face-off wins record with this one, marking his 15,183rd career face-off win to pass Patrice Bergeron. But then the very next game, he would pick up an assist on this one from O'Connor to get him to 9th all-time in points in the NHL. We're witnessing history, folks. Enjoy it. Now, as for a baby goat, we also saw Connor McDavid get his number retired by the OHL's Erie Otters, which was pretty neat to see. But with that, let's start the highlights with the goalies this time, as this is real footage of Jacob Markstrom, who, against Seattle, had his first big save come against Bjorkstrand, absolutely robbing a surefire goal at the end of the first. But then he had a save of the year candidate against Tolvanen in the second, and yet his best save came in the third as he somehow tracks this and batted it out of the air to keep it out. Insane. And when he did get scored on, he wasn't happy about it, as this Markstrom is just fun to watch right now. And in the very next game, I mean, dude was just a highlight reel this week as he committed grand larceny on point.
You know, Mark, stood tall for us, and he saved my butt.
But sometimes it's the post that saves you, as Fleury made sure to thank his pal. Over in Utah, it was Ingram. Oh no, Ingram had his controller disconnected. I'll tell you who didn't though. Anton Forsberg in Detroit made an unbelievable stop against Casper. Just wow. Headed to Calgary, it was Dustin Wolf, who's been great, making another spectacular stop against Deneau, and another rookie with a beauty was Askarov over in San Jose, able to get across nicely to kick one out. But getting back to Fleury for a sec, this week he returned to Vegas for his last time, and he was great to the fans, of course, but check this out. Draws glasses on himself. I mean, I love it. And lastly, the NHL's first star of the week, Connor Hellebuck. What can you say? Dude is a stud. Became the third fastest goaltender in NHL history to reach 300 wins, got to 500 games played, and recorded his 6th shutout this week. Meaning he has as many shutouts as he has losses. Just, I mean, the Vezina is his to lose right now. But speaking of shutouts, Skinner, despite 1, not giving up any goals, 2, making all 26 saves in this game, and 3, finishing the game, was not credited with a shutout against Boston. See, over in the first, Zadorov going hard towards the net would crash into Skinner in a pretty violent looking collision, and while he was okay, the spotters would pull him from the game, meaning Pickard would play 5 minutes. And although he faced 0 shots, it meant Skinner didn't play the full 60, and therefore kinda got robbed here. But so, with Markstrom chopping down trees, Skinner getting hit violently, let's get into some of the nasty, as the goalies were definitely involved. The game between the Penguins and Senators was just a feisty one. Several scrums breaking out, and guess who got involved? Nedeljkovic trying to trip up Reinhard here, no dice. So he goes around the back, and this time he gets him. Over in Montreal, it was Gouli laying a massive open ice hit on Leckermacki. We had Garland in Washington get sat down by Wilson, as again, this was a pretty feisty game between the Canucks and Capitals. Then back to Philly. What could possibly make Torts this content? A good scrap, of course, as Dewar and Fairby would go at it, but in the box, hey, thanks, bro. I mean, only in hockey would a guy thank you for a fight.
He's a really good guy, so appreciate him giving me one there.
We also got some friendly fire between Michkov and Lawton, but it's all love out there. Having said that, not so much between Aho and Hagel, as this was something else. But from here, let's hit some quick ones. This was Brad Marchand's mom doing her best impression of Brad.
Oh, good morning. It's my dating me. Good notes.
You nailed it. It's fun to see, so it's great to see them.
Then we had Wes McCauley on cleanup duty over in Montreal. I don't know, I just thought this was kind of good. We got a hot mic in Toronto. And then, oh dang, breaking news. Let's see what's Zibanejad offered for Miller. Wait, are you serious? Okay, breaking news. I've got an offer. How about McDavid for Trocheck? Does that sound good?
That's a good one.
Okay, during practice in Ottawa, we saw Shane Pinto take a good fall. Those dang skate guards will get you.
And I thought it was a puff under my foot, so I thought I just whipped it, and then I took a thumb. That's a good one.
But if it's not a skate guard, it's the blade holder. I mean, these things are like kryptonite. Well, unless you're Matty Beniers, his kryptonite apparently is chicken cutlets.
Every single time I cook chicken cutlets, I put off the fire alarm. So loud. Chicken cutlets have my number.
And then what do we got here? Oh, just a new face of the NHL. All right, moving on. We got some good sound bites.
All right, we started rocking last game, and we're going to be jukebox heroes tonight, and we're going to keep on rocking.
Gene, may the force be with you. Here's the thing I know about you, Yoda, man. What were some of the good things that you did in the last game?
But with that, let's round things out with the goals of the week. Starting with this late period game winner in Tampa. A great pass from Cooch, but an even nicer finish by Point. I mean, there's not not many guys that score this goal. Also against the Canes, this time Matthews with a diving play, able to score from his stomach to knot it up. And speaking of scoring while down in the PWHL, Montreal's Marie-Philippe Poulin scored a superwoman goal in what was a beauty. Back to the NHL though, after Trocheck would get a puck to the gut, he would stick with it and score before immediately heading off of the ice in Vegas. And yeah, we had some odd ones this week for sure. Minnesota's Chisholm would fan on the pass to absolutely gift one for Colton. Oh, that's tough, but not as bad as doing it in overtime. As brand new Duck Trouba trying to bank one off the boards with alley-oop it right to Huberdeau for the game winner. But even better, this fan giving it to him was met by Uyghur waving him good night. And I thought this one was pretty great too. The Red Wings, of course, do that boo versus cheer thing. And so with the nuns in the house, after showtime, Patty Kane would call it a night in overtime. Check out this celly. I mean, that is aura right there. But there's no better way to celebrate a goal than a good smooch. And so to finish things off, let's head over to the SHL, where Örebro's Henrik Björklund would score on himself. Hits it not once, not twice, but 3 times before it's in the back of his own net, and that goalie was not happy. Lastly, in the NIHL, a nice move as Lee Bonner would score to make it 7-4, but check out his goal graphic. I mean, what the hell is this? Anyway, I think that's going to about do it for this week. Again, thank you guys so much for the support. Hopefully things are okay moving forward, but I guess we'll see how this one goes. Have a good one. Hopefully I'll see you in the next one.
He's got a chance! Alex Nedeljkovic!
That's really exciting.
Well, even further, he made hockey history on a 2.
He's got a chance! Alex Nedeljkovic scores!
Alex Nedeljkovic just made NHL history.
That's really exciting.
Well, even further, he made hockey history on a 2-point night, which meant he had more points than Carlson, Crosby, and Malkin combined. He accomplished something no goalie has ever done before. So let's get to it. With Tristan Jarry being placed on waivers, this was a big game for Ned. And while the Sabres were able to get on the board first, beating him, it's Owen Power scoring his first career power play goal. It was the Penguins who came out strong in the second, as Raquel would answer with his team-leading 23rd of the year not 2 minutes into the frame. And then, not 30 seconds later, Glass would break Beauvillier free. He'd come down and he'd score. Gets behind Yoki Haru for his 10th to take their first lead of the game, before going on to score a third unanswered, as it's Glass doubling that lead with their second power play goal of the night. But what is noteworthy here is that this goal came after Nedeljkovic, who handled the puck more than once on this power play, was forced to make a huge stop in tight, short-handed, and then a little later handling it one more time and giving it to Glass. This would eventually lead to that goal on the other end, meaning that an assist was credited to Alex Nedeljkovic. But his night was just beginning, because while he was great offensively, he put in a solid game between the pipes as well. The Penguins were heavily outshot 42-19, but Ned was kicking them all night, and that power play was rolling as Russ would go on to score their third PP goal of the night in the third, making it a 4-1 game, which forced the Sabres to pull Luukkonen with over 5 minutes remaining. And while that did pay off for one, with Benson scoring to cut the lead to 2, they would double down, pulling him again, but this time it was Ned to the rescue as he'd get that biscuit and send it down the length of the ice to score. This thing went dead center as Crosby knew it, and what preceded was Ned flying into the Penguins bench. I mean, this has to be one of the best sellies all year. Head taps from all the boys. How can you not love it? By the way, he actually took a hit firing this thing down as well. So the only thing missing here was a fight, as we could have had a goalie Gordial hat-trick. But regardless, while he became the first goalie in history to record both an apple and an assist in the same game, this was his 4th professional hockey goal. He did it in the ECHL back in 2016, then had not just one in the AHL in 2018, but then had a second with Pittsburgh in 2023, before, of course, becoming the 19th goaltender in history to score one in the NHL. But yeah, as time expired, the Pens would take a big 2 points, just their 3rd win in their last 10 games. Meanwhile, the Sabres are now 5-5 in their last 10, in what has just been a crazy tight race for the final wildcard spots in the East. That's gonna about do it for this one. As always, thank you so much for watching. I appreciate it very much, and I'll see you in the next one.
Introducing Weight Loss by Hims. Personalized prescriptions, including GLP-1 injections and oral medication kits designed to help you lose weight so you can gain confidence and
The Kings will be playing the Penguins today at 10:30 p.m. in Los Angeles.